Hey folks, just doing a quick live here. I am in West Laurel Hill Cemetery in Philadelphia. It is Sunday of the Labor Day weekend, and we are doing a non-traditional celebration. We're not at the beach. In fact, it's a little drizzly, but we've come out to this cemetery here, which is actually just across the river, about near Bala Cynwyd area. And we are here today to visit the burial place of John Worrell Keely, and we brought paid our respects with a little bouquet, and the mothers are here with us, and some sage, and we did some cleansing, and someone had sent me this wonderful dandelion poster. So we did our good vibrations. And for those of you who may not be familiar with Keely's work, he was born in Philadelphia. He was orphaned at an early age and raised by a grandfather, kind of onto his own devices, and was a non-traditionally educated person who was really, really good with craftsmanship in his hands, and ended up creating and working to patent over 200 machines that were advancing an idea of sort of free energy based on etheric forces and sort of pneumatics and hydrogen and water and ether, and this was all happening in the late 1860s, early 1870s, which was about 10 or 15 years after oil was discovered in Titusville, Pennsylvania. So you can imagine that he was not a particularly popular guy for offering up this idea of sort of innovative physics and etheric energy. And so he was actually backed for a time by John Jacob Astor IV, who was into real estate, industrialist. He was the one who died on the Titanic. But ultimately, I thought that he was run over by a car. Someone else said he died of pneumonia in his 70s. But as soon as he died, professors from the University of Pennsylvania swept into his workshop, which is at the current location on North 20th Street, which is the parking lot of the Philadelphia Housing Authority on Ridge Avenue. So there must be sort of energetic presence there. They came in and they totally dismantled all of his machines. And the thing that I was told is that he was one of the only people who could make them work, but that a lot of this was connected to spiritualism and one's soul and one's intent. And actually Steiner lectured about John Worrell Keely, and Tesla knew about John Worrell Keely. And, the powers that be made sure to make him out as a fraud, and totally to dismantle all of his equipment and his lab, and to discredit him immediately upon his death. And in fact, like, we're here in this cemetery, there's a lot, you can see lots of little obelisks. We saw a number of like Masonic, gravestones with Masonic pieces. But this gravestone here is very small and modest, and it was only installed very recently, I think within the past decade. He lived from 1827, you can see, to 1898. And so for most of that time, up until maybe 10 years ago, for maybe about 100 years, his grave was unmarked. It was documented by the cemetery company, but his grave itself was unmarked. And so you can see the way in which the plans were to erase him. And, as we approach, I'm just going to turn this around, as we sort of approach what is coming, I would just say, we are in the midst of, the climate narrative, the carbon credit trading, the green, sustainable energy, which is anything but, and that understanding that the history of all of this is really, really important, because if we actually had inexpensive, cheap energy, the whole tyranny of big oil over agriculture and life and public health wouldn't have happened. And so that's sort of Keely's role in this, and why he was disappeared. And as we think about piezoelectric energy and graphene and nanotech and the hydrogen economy, we need to be good about like power and revisiting some of the legacies that are here in Philadelphia. And as I always say, we keep remembering all the wrong things in Philadelphia. So anyway, I'm just going to finish up for today. Someone had sent me some lovely dandelions, Japanese dandelions that I sprinkled around the headstone. So maybe some of those will take root. It's sprinkling now, so I'm going to have to
to sign off, but I'm here with Meg and Daniel, some new friends, and we were just sitting reading the biography of his life, and I'm going to dive into it more deeply. So take care everyone, and have a good, safe, long weekend. Bye-bye.